Right now, millions of Americans are waking up every day asking the same question. How am I supposed to make it another month? Rent is higher, groceries cost more, prescriptions feel impossible. And if you're living on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, every single dollar matters because your check isn't extra money, it's survival money. This isn't just news. This is about your fridge, your bills, and your peace of mind. It's about whether you can afford heat this winter, whether you can fill your gas tank, and whether your family has to help you again, even when you hate asking. And that's why today's updates matter so much, because January checks are arriving during one of the most financially stressful times of the year. But here's the part nobody tells you up front. There are changes, timing shifts, and money details that could affect when and how much you get. So don't click away. Because by the end of this video, you'll know what's happening, what to watch for, and what you can do to protect your income. This is about you, your family, your wallet. Let's get into it. Why people are struggling more. Let's talk about the real problem first, because it's not just one thing, it's everything hitting at the same time. Prices are still high, medical costs keep rising, housing is harder to afford, and benefits aren't stretching as far as they used to. Your check might look the same on paper, but what it buys you is shrinking. That's what people are really feeling. For seniors, disabled workers, and families depending on SSI, that pressure doesn't just cause stress, it causes fear. Fear of running out, fear of emergencies, fear of falling behind. And here's the hardest part. Most people on Social Security and disability don't have backup income. There's no second paycheck waiting, no overtime, no easy way to earn more. So when January arrives with new expenses, holiday debt, heating bills, and medical costs, your benefit check becomes the lifeline, not just a deposit. That's why these updates matter so much. Because when the system changes even a little, it hits you directly, immediately, and emotionally. And now, let's talk about what's actually changing. The real impact on your monthly budget. Now let's get real about impact, because numbers on a screen don't tell the whole story. When your benefit arrives late, when your amount changes, when deductions show up unexpectedly, it can throw your entire month into chaos. Suddenly you're choosing between paying a bill or buying food, filling prescriptions or fixing your car, saving nothing. Again. And here's what many people don't realize. Even small adjustments to benefits can feel massive when you're living check to check. $10 less? That's groceries. $20? That's medication. $50? That's rent stress. This is why timing matters. This is why accuracy matters. This is why January checks are not just another payment, because January sets the tone for the entire year. And if something goes wrong early on, it takes months to recover. But now, here comes the part that most headlines don't explain clearly enough. Timing is everything. Here's where people get caught off guard, and this part is critical. Not everyone gets paid on the same day. Social Security, SSI, and SSDI all follow different schedules. And when weekends or holidays hit, payments can shift earlier or later, without much warning. So some people wake up expecting money, and it's not there yet. Others see it earlier and think something changed permanently, when it didn't. That confusion leads to missed payments, overdraft fees, panic calls to banks, stress you absolutely do not need. And here's the wait for it part. January is one of the months where timing confusion happens the most, because of holidays, processing delays, and banking schedules. So if your payment looks early, late, or slightly different, that does not always mean your benefits were cut. But you must check, because sometimes changes are real, and that leads us to the next big update. What's happening with payment amounts? Now let's talk about what everyone really wants to know. Is my check going up, staying the same, or going down? For many people, payments stay steady, but deductions can change. Things like Medicare premiums, past overpayments, changes in income reporting. So your gross benefit may stay the same, but your net deposit can be different. And that's where people get shocked. You look at your bank account and think, wait, why is this less? That moment can feel terrifying. That's why it's important to review your benefit letters, check your Social Security account, watch your bank deposit details carefully, because sometimes adjustments are temporary and sometimes they're not. But either way, you deserve to know what's happening with your own money. And now, let's talk about SSI specifically, because it follows different rules. Big SSI details. You need to know SSI works differently from regular Social Security, and that matters in January. SSI is needs-based, which means your payment depends on income, living situation, support from others. Even small changes can trigger payment adjustments. And here's what many people don't realize. If you got help during the holidays, even temporary help, it can affect SSI calculations. A family member paying a bill, someone letting you stay with them. Even small gifts can sometimes raise questions. Now, does that mean everyone will see changes? No, absolutely not. But it does mean you should. Check your notices. Report changes correctly. Keep records. Because when SSI adjusts, it can happen quietly, and you only notice when your deposit looks different. And that brings us to SSDI, which has its own update cycle. SSDI, what disabled workers should watch. If you're on SSDI, your benefits are tied to your work history, but reviews still happen. And January often brings continuing disability reviews, earnings checks, eligibility confirmations. Now don't panic. Most people pass these reviews with no problem. But here's the key. If you're working even a little, reporting matters. Income changes can trigger temporary payment holds, overpayment notices, requests for documents. And the worst part? Sometimes people don't respond fast enough, not because they don't care, but because they're confused or overwhelmed. So this is your reminder. Open your mail, check your online account, respond to notices, because delays can cost you months of payments, and that recovery process is slow. And now, let's talk about something that affects everyone: banking delays. Bank issues that can hold up your money. Let's be honest, sometimes the problem isn't Social Security, sometimes it's your bank. Deposits can be delayed due to processing errors, account changes, new routing numbers, bank system updates, and when your check doesn't show up, panic kicks in fast. But here's the truth. Most payment delays are resolved within 24 to 48 hours. Still stressful, still unfair, but usually temporary. What you should do: confirm your direct deposit info, call your bank first, then contact Social Security if needed, because waiting too long can make things worse. And now, let's talk about what happens if your money really doesn't arrive. What to do if your check is missing. If your payment doesn't show up, here's your action plan. First, don't assume it's canceled. Most of the time, it's timing or banking. Second, verify your scheduled payment date. Not everyone gets paid on the same day. Third, contact your bank to confirm if it's pending. And if nothing shows up, then it's time to contact Social Security directly. Yes, hold times are long. Yes, it's frustrating. But waiting too long can delay your fix. And here's something very important. Do not ignore missing payments, even if you think it will correct itself, because unresolved issues can snowball into bigger problems, and nobody needs that stress. And now, let's talk about something people are quietly worried about: fear, stress, and financial burnout. Let's pause for a second, because this isn't just about money, it's about mental health too. Constant financial uncertainty creates anxiety, depression, sleep problems, relationship stress. When every bill feels like a crisis, your nervous system never gets a break, and many people feel embarrassed to talk about it. But you are not alone. Millions of Americans are dealing with the exact same pressure right now, and that's why staying informed matters. Because knowledge gives you at least one thing back: control. You may not control prices, you may not control policy, but you can control what you know and how fast you respond. And that brings us to the hopeful part: why staying updated can protect you. When you know what's happening, you can act faster. You can fix errors early, appeal mistakes, avoid overpayments, prevent benefit suspensions, and believe it or not, many benefit problems get worse simply because people didn't know something changed. Not because they did anything wrong, but because nobody explained it clearly. That's why videos like this exist, not to scare you, but to prepare you. Because when January changes your payment, your schedule, or your notice letters, you won't be caught off guard. And now, let's talk about what people are really waiting for. Future changes. Here's the moment everyone leans in for. What's coming next? There are ongoing discussions about benefit protections, cost of living adjustments, program funding, administrative improvements. Now, nothing changes overnight, and promises don't pay bills. But attention matters, public pressure matters, and staying informed keeps these programs visible. Because Social Security, SSI, and SSDI are not handouts. They are earned lifelines for millions of Americans, and the more people understand how much these programs matter, the harder they are to ignore. So, while January is about immediate payments, the bigger story is about protecting these benefits long term. And that leads to our final message. You deserve stability and respect. Let's say this clearly. You deserve stability. You deserve dignity. You deserve reliable income. You worked. You paid in. You followed the rules. And needing help now does not erase your worth. So when you feel frustrated with delays, paperwork, or confusing letters, that frustration is valid. But don't give up. Don't ignore notices. Don't assume nothing can be done. Because small actions now can prevent big problems later. And now, here comes the closing message, and it's important. Here's the warning. If you ignore changes, delays, or notices, problems can grow quietly. But here's the hope. Most benefit issues can be fixed if you act early. And that's why staying connected to updates like this matters. Not because everything is always bad news, but because your income depends on staying informed. And finally, let's bring this home. Let me leave you with this. Your benefits are not just numbers on a screen. They are your groceries, your medicine, your rent, and your peace of mind. January checks matter, these updates matter, and you matter. So don't let confusion steal your stability. Don't let silence cost you money. And don't face this alone. Stay connected, stay informed, stay protected. Subscribe so you never miss important updates that affect your money. Share this video with someone who depends on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, because they might need this information too. Because in times like these, information isn't just power, it's financial survival. And I'll be right here bringing you the updates that protect your wallet, your family, and your future. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next update.